Our planet is full of wonders, but some places go beyond what science can easily explain. From the never-ending lightning storms of Venezuela to a massive stone in Finland that's been perfectly balanced for thousands of years without falling, these locations challenge everything we think we know about nature. Some look like illusions, others behave like natural paradoxes, and all of them leave scientists scratching their heads. These are 20 real places that seem scientifically impossible. Number 20. The Catatumbo Lightning, Venezuela. In a remote corner of Venezuela, something truly astonishing happens: lightning storms that rage for nearly 300 nights a year without a single drop of rain. This phenomenon, known as Catatumbo lightning, occurs where the Catatumbo River meets Lake Maracaibo, and it's one of the most persistent and intense natural light shows on Earth. What makes this place so scientifically baffling is the sheer frequency and regularity of the lightning. At its peak, the area experiences up to 280 lightning strikes per hour, lighting up the night sky with no apparent storm clouds or thunder. The lightning is so bright and consistent that sailors once used it as a natural lighthouse. Scientists believe the phenomenon is caused by a unique combination of geography and weather patterns. Warm trade winds from the Caribbean collide with cool air descending from the Andes Mountains. This constant clash of temperatures, combined with high humidity from the lake and swamplands, creates perfect conditions for electrical storms over and over again. Yet no other place on Earth replicates this natural event at such scale and consistency, which is why it's often called the everlasting storm. Despite scientific theories, no one fully understands why it happens only here. The Catatumbo lightning remains one of Earth's most electrifying mysteries, literally. Number 19. The Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. In the middle of Turkmenistan's vast Karakum desert lies a fiery crater that looks like a portal to another world. Known as the Door to Hell, this massive burning pit has been blazing continuously for over 50 years, and it's entirely real. The story begins in 1971, when Soviet geologists were drilling for natural gas. During the operation, the ground beneath their equipment suddenly collapsed, revealing a massive underground cavern filled with methane. Fearing the toxic gas would escape and harm nearby villages, the scientists decided to ignite the gas, thinking it would burn off in a matter of days. But days turned into weeks, and weeks into decades. The gas never stopped leaking, and the fire never stopped burning. Today, the crater is about 230 feet wide and 100 feet deep, with flames constantly leaping from its walls and floor. The heat is so intense that visitors can feel it from dozens of feet away, and the glow can be seen from miles in the dark desert night. Despite being man-made, the Door to Hell is still considered one of the most bizarre and seemingly impossible places on Earth. The fact that a simple mistake turned into an endless inferno leaves both scientists and travelers stunned. It's a fiery reminder of how unpredictable nature and human error can be. Number 18. Lake Natron, Tanzania. At first glance, Lake Natron in northern Tanzania looks stunning. Its waters shimmer in vibrant shades of red and pink, surrounded by an arid, alien landscape. But this beautiful lake holds a deadly secret. Its unique chemical makeup is so harsh that it can mummify animals that come into contact with it. The lake gets its name from natron, a natural compound made of sodium carbonate and baking soda, which gives the water its extreme alkalinity. With temperatures reaching up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit and a pH as high as 10.5, it's one of the most caustic bodies of water on Earth. Most animals that fall into the lake don't survive, and their bodies often emerge calcified, appearing as though they've been turned to stone. Photos of birds and bats perfectly preserved along the shoreline have gone viral in recent years, adding to the lake's eerie reputation. However, the petrification effect is more of a drying and hardening process than true fossilization. Despite its extreme environment, Lake Natron is also a place of life. It's one of the only breeding grounds in the world for the lesser flamingo, which thrives in its salty waters, safe from predators who can't tolerate the lake's conditions. Lake Natron is a paradox of beauty and danger, a place where nature defies the rules and challenges our understanding of life itself. Number 17. Blood Falls, Antarctica. In one of the coldest, most desolate places on Earth, a shocking splash of red oozes from a glacier, like blood from ice. This chilling sight is known as Blood Falls, located in Antarctica's McMurdo Dry Valleys. At first glance, it looks like something from a horror movie, but it's actually a stunning natural phenomenon that scientists are still working to fully understand. The blood-red water comes from a hidden subglacial lake sealed off for millions of years beneath the Taylor Glacier. This ancient body of water is rich in iron and devoid of oxygen. When the iron-rich, salty water seeps out through fissures in the ice and comes into contact with oxygen at the surface, the iron oxidizes, essentially rusts, giving the water its deep, red color. What makes Blood Falls so scientifically fascinating is that it provides a glimpse into an alien-like ecosystem. The trapped water contains microbes that have survived in total darkness, extreme cold, and without oxygen, feeding on minerals instead. This discovery has huge implications for the possibility of life in extreme environments, like under the surface of Mars or Jupiter's icy moon Europa. Despite the eerie appearance, Blood Falls isn't a scene of violence. It's a natural wonder and a living laboratory, showing us just how strange and resilient life on Earth can be. Number 16. Lake Hillier, Australia. Tucked away on Middle Island, off the coast of Western Australia, lies one of the most visually baffling places on Earth, Lake Hillier. From above, it looks like a giant pool of bubblegum or strawberry milk, with vibrant pink water that sharply contrasts the surrounding blue ocean and green vegetation. And here's the kicker: the lake's pink color is completely natural and it doesn't fade when you bottle it. The exact reason for Lake Hillier's striking hue is still debated, but scientists believe it's caused by a combination of salt-loving microalgae called Dunaliella salina and certain halophilic bacteria that thrive in its extremely salty waters. These microorganisms produce pigments, especially beta-carotene, which gives the lake its bright pink coloration. What makes this even more bizarre is that the water is safe to touch and even swim in, though the high salinity would make floating effortless, much like the Dead Sea. But because the lake is in a protected nature reserve, swimming isn't typically allowed. Lake Hillier's color remains a scientific curiosity because other pink lakes around the world tend to shift shades depending on the season or conditions. But this one, it stays pink all year round. It's a beautiful, baffling wonder that looks more like a Photoshop job than a real, living ecosystem. Before we continue, check out this incredible image sent in by one of our subscribers showing the mysterious split sea phenomenon, where the ocean appears to part perfectly down the middle, revealing a dark abyss beneath. Scientists still have no explanation for how such a symmetrical divide could form. Do you think this could be real, or is it too impossible to believe? Let us know in the comments. Number 15. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. Stretching across more than 4,000 square miles, Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia is the largest salt flat in the world, and easily one of the most surreal landscapes on Earth. What was once a massive prehistoric lake is now a vast, blinding white expanse of salt crust that seems to go on forever. But the real magic happens after a rainfall, when a thin layer of water transforms the salt flat into a perfect mirror, reflecting the sky so flawlessly it becomes almost impossible to tell where Earth ends and heaven begins. This mirror effect is so precise that NASA has used Salar de Uyuni to calibrate satellite instruments from space. That's how scientifically mind-bending this place is. But there's more to it than just beauty. Beneath the salt crust lies one of the planet's largest reserves of lithium, the essential component in rechargeable batteries. So while it looks like another planet, flat, bright, and infinite, it's actually incredibly important to the future of clean energy on ours. Visitors often say it feels like walking on the clouds or stepping into a dream. It's not just visually impossible, it's scientifically extraordinary. Salar de Uyuni is a natural wonder that defies expectations and tricks the senses in the most beautiful way possible. Number 14. Kumakivi Balancing Rock, Finland. Deep within the quiet forests of Finland lies a natural oddity that seems to defy gravity itself. Known as the Kumakivi Balancing Rock, this massive boulder sits precariously on top of a smooth, curved rock surface and hasn't budged for thousands of years. Kumakivi literally means strange rock in Finnish, and for good reason. The upper rock, which weighs several tons, is perfectly balanced on such a small contact point that it looks like a gentle breeze could topple it. But despite its appearance, it's so stable that not even a human pushing it with all their strength can move it an inch. Scientists believe this geological marvel was created during the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago. As glaciers retreated, they dragged massive rocks across the landscape and deposited them in strange positions. Kumakivi is likely a result of this glacial movement, but that doesn't make it any less baffling to see in person. There's no trick or secret support beneath it, just a raw example of natural balance so perfect, it feels more like a sculpture than a random event of nature. The Kumakivi balancing rock is a quiet but powerful reminder of the strange and beautiful forces that have shaped our planet. Number 13. Socotra Island, Yemen. Often called the most alien-looking place on Earth, Socotra Island is located in the Arabian Sea, off the coast of Yemen. What makes it truly mind-blowing is that nearly 1/3 of its plant life is found nowhere else on the planet. In fact, stepping onto Socotra feels like visiting another world entirely. The island's most iconic species is the dragon's blood tree, with its umbrella-like canopy and red sap that ancient civilizations once believed had magical properties. Then there's the desert rose, a bulbous tree that looks like it belongs on a distant planet. The landscape is equally strange, rocky, windswept, and dotted with caves, sand dunes, and limestone plateaus. Socotra's bizarre ecosystem is the result of millions of years of isolation combined with extreme climate conditions. It's part of a remote archipelago that broke off from the African mainland over 20 million years ago, giving life plenty of time to evolve in unexpected directions. Because of its otherworldly biodiversity, Socotra has been recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It has often been called the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean, yet it remains one of the least visited natural wonders due to its political and geographic isolation. From its surreal trees to its unique wildlife, Socotra challenges everything we think we know about what Earth should look like. Number 12. Underwater Waterfall, Mauritius. Off the southwestern coast of Mauritius, in the Indian Ocean, there appears to be a massive underwater waterfall plunging into the ocean's depths. From above, it looks like a powerful cascade of water disappearing into an abyss, but this jaw-dropping sight is actually an optical illusion. The underwater waterfall near Lamorne, Brabant is caused by the movement of sand and silt on the ocean floor. The island of Mauritius sits on an ocean shelf, and just off the coast, this shelf drops sharply into the deep sea. As currents move the lighter sand particles down this slope, they create a visual effect that mimics a waterfall tumbling into the ocean trench. What's even more fascinating is how clearly this illusion can be seen from aerial views or satellite images. The contrast between the shallow, turquoise waters near the shore and the darker blues of the deep ocean enhances the illusion, making it look like nature has carved out an underwater canyon. While it's not a real waterfall, the illusion is so convincing and dramatic that it's often mistaken for a natural phenomenon that breaks the laws of physics. It's a stunning reminder that sometimes what we see isn't always what it seems. The underwater waterfall of Mauritius is one of nature's most beautiful visual tricks, and it continues to amaze travelers and scientists alike. Number 11. Marble Caves, Chile. Tucked away in the glacial waters of General Carrera Lake, deep in the Patagonian region of Chile, lies one of the most stunning natural wonders on Earth, the Marble Caves, or Cuevas de Mármol. These breathtaking formations look like something from a fantasy world, with swirling patterns of blue, white, and gray carved directly into solid marble. What makes these caves so scientifically astonishing is how they were formed, not by volcanic activity or tectonic shifts, but by thousands of years of wave erosion. The lake's turquoise waters, rich in glacial minerals, slowly carved and polished the marble walls into smooth, flowing shapes that reflect and refract the sunlight. The result? A surreal, glowing interior that changes color depending on the water level, time of day, and season. Because the caves are only accessible by boat, they remain one of the most untouched and pristine geological formations in the world. Visitors often describe the experience as floating through a living sculpture, with the cave walls resembling melting ice cream, liquid stone, or painted clouds. The marble caves are a perfect example of nature's quiet artistry. No human could have designed them better. It's a visually impossible place where stone flows like water and light dances on walls carved by time. Number 10. Crooked Forest, Poland. Hidden near the town of Gryfino in western Poland, the Crooked Forest, or Krzywy Las, is one of the world's most perplexing natural mysteries. Around 400 pine trees, all planted in the 1930s, grow with an unusual and unexplained twist. Each trunk bends sharply at the base, curving horizontally before turning upward again. The result is a grove of trees that look like something out of a fantasy film. What makes this forest so baffling is that no one knows exactly how or why the trees grew this way. They aren't a naturally occurring species, and the consistent shape suggests the trees were deliberately manipulated when they were saplings. One theory is that farmers or woodworkers bent the trees for timber crafting, possibly to create curved wood for boats or furniture. However, the outbreak of World War II may have disrupted their work, leaving the forest abandoned and unfinished. Another theory is that a heavy snowfall or mechanical damage early in the trees' growth caused the unusual shape. But if that were the case, why didn't nearby trees in the same area grow crooked too? Despite decades of speculation, the Crooked Forest remains an unsolved puzzle, a place where nature, or perhaps human intervention, broke the rules. Its eerie symmetry and dreamlike appearance continue to captivate visitors and scientists alike. Number 9. Lenqua Maranhenses, Brazil. Imagine walking across a vast desert of rolling white sand dunes, only to find shimmering blue and green lagoons nestled between the hills. Welcome to Lenqua Maranhenses National Park in northeastern Brazil, a place so surreal it seems like it shouldn't exist. At first glance, the landscape looks like a typical desert, but here's the twist: it's not a desert at all. Despite the endless dunes, this region gets a significant amount of rainfall, especially during the rainy season from January to June. Because there's very little vegetation and the ground beneath the sand is impermeable rock, the rainwater accumulates between the dunes, forming thousands of temporary freshwater lagoons. The name Lenqua means bed sheets in Portuguese, referring to the appearance of the endless rippling white dunes. During the dry season, most of the lagoons evaporate, but in the rainy season, they transform the area into an otherworldly oasis maze stretching as far as the eye can see. What makes Lenqua Maranhenses so scientifically puzzling is how such a lush, watery environment can exist within what looks like a lifeless desert. It flips our expectations upside down and offers a living example of how nature often refuses to follow our rules. Whether seen by foot or from the air, this is one of the most visually impossible places on Earth. Number 8. Pamukkale, Turkey. In southwestern Turkey, there's a place so dazzling it looks like it's been sculpted from clouds. This is Pamukkale, which means cotton castle in Turkish, a natural wonder famous for its gleaming white terraces filled with turquoise thermal water. These stunning terraces are actually made of travertine, a type of limestone deposited by the area's rich hot springs. Over thousands of years, as the mineral-rich water flowed down the mountainside, it cooled and deposited calcium carbonate, forming the iconic step-like pools. The bright white mineral buildup gives the entire slope a snowy, surreal appearance, despite the region's warm climate. Pamukkale isn't just beautiful, it's also been considered sacred for centuries. In ancient times, the nearby Greco-Roman city of Hierapolis was built above the terraces, and people traveled from all over the Roman Empire to bathe in its healing waters. Even today, many believe the thermal pools have therapeutic properties for the skin, joints, and circulation. What makes Pamukkale scientifically fascinating is the delicate balance required to maintain it. Human foot traffic and pollution once threatened the site, but careful conservation efforts have helped preserve its delicate ecosystem. Pamukkale is a rare combination of geology, history, and beauty, a place where nature appears to have carved a palace out of stone and water. Number 7. Great Blue Hole, Belize. Off the coast of Belize lies a perfectly circular, deep blue abyss in the middle of a vibrant turquoise sea. Known as the Great Blue Hole, this massive underwater sinkhole is one of the most mysterious and mesmerizing geological formations on Earth. Measuring over 1,000 feet across and more than 400 feet deep, the Great Blue Hole is part of the Lighthouse Reef, a small atoll in the Caribbean Sea. From above, it looks like a bottomless pit, a sharp contrast to the shallow coral surroundings. But this natural wonder wasn't always underwater. During the last ice age, when sea levels were lower, the area was actually a dry cave system. As the Earth warmed and sea levels rose, the caves flooded and the roof collapsed, forming the vertical chasm we see today. Inside, divers can still find ancient stalactites and unique rock formations, preserved hundreds of feet below the surface. What makes the Great Blue Hole scientifically fascinating and a bit eerie is its depth and lack of oxygen near the bottom, which creates a dead zone where very little life exists. Yet, it remains one of the world's top destinations for advanced scuba divers and explorers. The Great Blue Hole is like Earth's own eye peering into the deep, a stunning reminder of how much of our planet remains unexplored and full of mystery. Number 6. Eternal Flame Falls, New York. In the quiet woods of Chestnut Ridge Park in western New York, there's a tiny waterfall that hides a fiery secret, a small natural gas flame that burns right behind the flowing water. Known as Eternal Flame Falls, it looks like a scene out of a fantasy movie, fire flickering from within a curtain of cascading water. The flame is fueled by natural gas leaking from deep underground through cracks in the shale rock. Normally, such gas seeps would go unnoticed, but here, a small crevice in the waterfall's grotto allows the gas to collect and remain sheltered enough to stay ignited. Visitors often find the flame flickering gently, and if it happens to go out, it can be relit with a lighter. What puzzles scientists is why this flame even exists. Typically, for gas to seep like this, it must come from deep, hot rock formations. But studies show the rocks here aren't hot enough to produce gas in the way we'd expect. This suggests there might be a previously unknown mechanism at work underground, something that still defies full explanation. Eternal Flame Falls is one of those rare places where two opposing elements, fire and water, coexist in perfect harmony. It's a natural contradiction, a geological mystery, and a magical sight all wrapped into one. Number 5. The Devil's Kettle, Minnesota. In the heart of Judge C.R. Magny State Park in northern Minnesota lies a strange and mystifying geological puzzle known as the Devil's Kettle. Along the Brule River, the water splits into two streams as it approaches a rocky outcrop. One half flows normally downstream, but the other half? It vanishes into a deep, dark hole in the rock and seemingly disappears forever. For years, scientists and visitors alike were baffled. Where did the water go? People tried everything, dye tests, ping-pong balls, even GPS trackers, but nothing ever emerged downstream. It was as if nature had created a bottomless pit that swallowed water without a trace, defying all known laws of hydrology. For decades, the Devil's Kettle remained an unsolved mystery. But in recent years, researchers used more advanced dye tracing and flow measurements to finally crack the case. They discovered that the disappearing water actually rejoins the river underground, just farther downstream than anyone had originally thought. The delay and complexity of the underground path made it seem like the water had vanished. Even with an explanation, the Devil's Kettle remains one of the most visually baffling natural features in the U.S. It's a reminder that even in the modern world, nature can still keep secrets, at least for a little while. Number 4. Richet Structure, Mauritania. Deep in the Sahara Desert of Mauritania, a massive, bullseye-like formation stretches nearly 30 miles across the landscape. Known as the Richet Structure, or more dramatically, the Eye of the Sahara, this enormous circular feature is so large it can only be fully seen from space, and for years, its origin was a complete mystery. At first glance, the Richet Structure looks like the impact site of a colossal meteorite. That's exactly what early scientists believed, given its perfect round shape. But further research revealed no evidence of shocked quartz or melted rock, key signs of an impact crater. So, if not a meteor, what caused this enormous eye in the desert? Geologists now believe the Richet Structure is a highly eroded geological dome. Layers of ancient rock were pushed upward by subterranean forces, and then wind and water slowly carved out the rings over millions of years. The varying resistance of different rock types to erosion created the distinct, concentric circles we see today. Despite this explanation, the site still feels otherworldly. Some have even speculated it could be the lost city of Atlantis, though there's no evidence to support that. Whether a natural monument or a misunderstood anomaly, the Richet Structure stands as a powerful reminder of Earth's complex and sometimes visually impossible geological history. Number 3. Spotted Lake, Canada. Located in British Columbia near the town of Osuyus, Spotted Lake is one of the strangest and most visually captivating natural wonders in North America. During the hot summer months, much of the lake's water evaporates, revealing dozens of colorful circular spots that the lake bed, each one filled with different minerals and hues ranging from yellow and green to blue and white. What causes this bizarre pattern? Spotted Lake is highly mineral-rich, containing large concentrations of magnesium sulfate, calcium, sodium sulfates, and other minerals. As the water dries out in summer, these minerals crystallize and form distinct pools, each with its own unique composition and color. The higher the concentration of certain minerals, the more vibrant and defined the spots become. The lake has long been considered sacred by the indigenous Syilx Okanagan people, who have used its healing waters for centuries. Even today, it's protected land, and visitors are only allowed to view it from a distance to preserve its natural and cultural significance. What makes Spotted Lake scientifically fascinating is not just its alien appearance, but also its status as one of the world's most mineral-dense natural bodies of water. It looks like a modern art painting created by nature itself, a surreal fusion of chemistry, climate, and time. Number 2. Wave Rock, Australia. In the outback of Western Australia, near the town of Hayden, stands one of the most visually striking rock formations on Earth, Wave Rock. This incredible granite formation looks as though it's been sculpted by the forces of nature into a massive, frozen wave ready to crash onto the land. The rock is around 50 feet high and 360 feet long, resembling the shape of an ocean wave in mid-crash. What makes Wave Rock scientifically fascinating is how it was formed. Over 2.7 billion years, the rock has been shaped by natural weathering processes, including wind and rain, which gradually wore down the softer granite layers beneath a harder cap. This erosion created the smooth, curving shape that now defines the rock's appearance. Over time, mineral deposits from rainwater have given the surface its distinctive colors, shades of gray, brown, and ochre, that further enhance its wave-like appearance. Although it might seem like a surreal, alien landscape, Wave Rock is part of a larger outcrop, known as Hayden Rock, which forms a natural part of the ancient Yilgarn Craton. It has long been a site of cultural significance for the indigenous Noongar people. Wave Rock is a remarkable example of the artistry of erosion, where geological forces have combined to create a striking visual illusion that looks much more like a work of art than a product of nature. Number 1. The Boiling River, Peru. Deep in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, hidden from the modern world for centuries, flows a river so hot it can boil animals alive. Known as Shinay Timpishka, or boiled with the heat of the sun, this boiling river in Peru is one of the most scientifically baffling natural wonders on Earth. Stretching about 4 miles through the jungle, the river reaches temperatures up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to cause third-degree burns in seconds. What's even more astonishing is that there are no active volcanoes or geothermal vents nearby to explain the intense heat. Normally, such hot rivers are only found in volcanically active zones, but this one is located hundreds of miles from any such activity. Scientists believe the water is heated deep underground by geothermal energy from the Earth's crust. As rainwater seeps into the Earth, it travels through fault lines, gets superheated, and then resurfaces through the riverbed. Still, the exact mechanics of how and why this happens in such an unusual location remain a mystery. For the local Ashaninka people, the river is sacred and steeped in legend. For scientists and explorers, it's a rare and mind-bending discovery, a river that defies what we thought we knew about Earth's thermal systems. The boiling river is not just a marvel, it's a reminder of how much mystery still hides within our planet's wildest places. And that wraps up our journey through some of the most mind-bending places on Earth. These natural wonders prove that our planet is full of surprises science still struggles to explain. If you enjoyed this exploration of the impossible, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping content. And let us know in the comments, which of these places blew your mind the most?